Namaskar, good evening. You're watching Nation Wants to Know and I'm Swati Joshi. The revamped GST has been implemented beginning today and the entire country is celebrating what the Prime Minister called Bachat Utsav. But today, viewers, this is a tale of two narratives. As he teased the rollout of GST 2.0 last evening, the Prime Minister stressed that this time India must focus on self-reliance. Prices are down this festive season and he appealed to all Indians to purchase Indian products. The message was clear. Focus on promoting brand India. He also gave a clarion call to the country. Garv se kaho ye Swadeshi hai. And on the other hand, you have India's leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, who has not once but on multiple times berated the Make in India story. You remember just a few months earlier how Rahul Gandhi was seen flaunting a made in China drone that's banned in India. He said the government just isn't doing enough to promote production and manufacturing in India. Today, however, GST 2.0 is here and the Prime Minister made it clear that Indians must look to promote brand India.
जैसे स्वदेशी के मंत्र से ताकत मिली, वैसे ही देश की समृद्धि को भी स्वदेशी के मंत्र से ही शक्ति मिलेगी। आज जाने अनजाने हमारी रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में बहुत सी विदेशी चीजें जुड़ गई है, हमें पता तक नहीं है। हमारे जेब में कंघी विदेशी है कि देसी, हमें पता ही नहीं है। हमें इनसे भी मुक्ति पानी होगी। हम वो सामान खरीदें जो मेड इन इंडिया हो, जिसमें हमारे देश के नौजवानों की मेहनत लगी हो। हमें हर घर को स्वदेशी का प्रतीक बनाना है, हर दुकान को स्वदेशी से सजाना है। गर्व से कहो ये स्वदेशी है, गर्व से कहो मैं स्वदेशी खरीदता हूं, मैं स्वदेशी सामान की बिक्री भी करता हूं। ये हर भारतीय का मिजाज बनना चाहिए।
So naturally, one would expect that when a bold GST reform is being introduced to boost consumption and improve the ease of living of the common man, the decision would be welcomed by all. But the opposition is unimpressed yet again. Today they are calling it a band-aid on the wounds of the public. Today they are saying the traders and industrialists are in mourning. They are calling it an adverse impact on the economy. Remember, this move alone is going to cost the exchequer about 48,000 crore rupees. But the common citizen, the common man, will save a total of about 2.5 lakh crores. The government today is calling this a pro-people move to promote consumption and sales, and the government wants to promote spending on Indian products. So is the opposition opposing Indians' first move only for political gains?
जुलाई 2017 में जीएसटी पहली बार लागू हुआ, तभी राहुल गांधी जी ने कहा, कांग्रेस पार्टी ने कहा, यह गब्बर सिंह टैक्स है। यह टैक्स नाइदर गुड है या सिंपल है, सरल नहीं है, अच्छा टैक्स नहीं है, ये खतरनाक रहेगा हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था के लिए। नोटबंदी के बाद ये दूसरा झटका लगेगा। 8 साल हुए हैं, 8 साल उन्होंने ये माना नहीं। हम मांग करते रहे जीएसटी में सुधार लाइए, दूसरा अवतार जीएसटी का लाइए, उन्होंने बात सुनी नहीं।
पहले जीएसटी के फायदे गिनवाए देश को। जीएसटी से ये होगा 55 लाख करोड़ की लूट हुई, खत्म हुई। अब आप उत्सव मना रहे हैं। उस उत्सव का लिए मुझे भी फोन आ रहे हैं बहुत जगहों से कि चारों तरफ भीड़ उमड़ पड़ी है, लाखों की भीड़ मार्केट के अंदर खड़ी है कि मोदी जी की महासेल लगी है, आओ लूट सको तो लूट लो। ये बर्बाद कर देगा व्यापारी को। तो ये उत्सव है या मातम है? ये मातम है, ये व्यापारियों की बर्बादी का मातम है। अब
एनडीए की जो नीतियां हैं, नरेंद्र मोदी जी की जो नीतियां हैं, समाजवादी पार्टी ये कहना चाहती है, भारत की जनता को पहले आप तवे पर रखकर आंच को तेज करते हो। जब बिल्कुल वो दम तोड़ देती है जनता, फिर आप जो है एक नया स्लैब बनाकर कहते हो कि साहब हमने तो नरेंद्र मोदी की भारत के लोगों को सौगात। और जो सरकार के दोस्त हैं, उनकी टैक्स देने की सरकार को उसमें बहुत कमी हम देख रहे हैं। अब भारत की जनता को मिल क्या रहा है? हर दिन हम टेलीविजन के माध्यम से खबरें देखते हैं कि अस्पतालों में स्ट्रेचर नहीं है, स्कूलों में शिक्षक नहीं है,
All right, let's open this up and go across to our guests. We're joined by RP Singh, National Spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. We have Dr. P.K. Vasu, economist, Kapil Madan, advocate and political analyst, and advocate Anmol Pawar, National Spokesperson of the Aadmi Party. Good evening to all of you. RP Singh ji, I want to start with you because the opposition is not impressed. Opposition says this is a band-aid on the wounds of the common man. Pehle unko pareshan kiya, now you're calling it Bachat Utsav.
Well, we are here not to please Congress party, it's for the people at large. And people at large are very happy with the Prime Minister Modi, these second generation, next gen reforms in the GST. And the way the prices have come down in various sectors and the way taxation has come down in various sectors. And it's not the first time that the reforms have been done. Earlier, the taxation slab was increased from like 2.5 lakh, it used to be, to now 12 lakh plus for the income tax. And now under GST, a lot of slabs have been cut and a lot of products have been brought to 0%. The basic daily needs products have been brought to 0%.
Right.
The some products have brought to 5% and aspirational product to 18%. So that's how the overall package is good for the country, good for the people at large. And then people who talk about what used to be the condition during the Congress regime, let's remind them that the VAT and the cess put together used to be almost fourfold or threefold than the present GST. And that's how it used to be. I mean, if I rightly remember, the toothpaste used to be 27%. I'm saying toothpaste, mineral water basics were 27%. Was the tax, VAT and these other taxes put together, which is now 5%.
RP Singh, while you do the price comparison, and the tax comparison, there's another argument that is coming in. It is that this is going to have a adverse impact on the states. And the Congress party says, हमने तो 2017 में ही कह दिया था to do away with this because according to Jairam Ramesh, Rahul Gandhi in 2017 itself predicted कि ये Gabbar Singh tax है. This is neither good. This is not going to serve the purpose. And you are acting upon it now. How do you respond to that?
How many parties, how many states were ruled by Congress during when GST was formed? And then when GST was discussed in the meeting of the GST, how many parties were there of the Congress party? How many states were there of the Congress party? And all finance minister was part of that GST club, where every finance minister used to participate in that. When they accepted it, they said the difference should be paid. Government paid the difference for the 5 years. They said the difference between the revenue collection and the GST collection should be paid by the government, and government India took that onus on the government, and they paid the tax also. But जो मूल बात है वो है कि इनको दिक्कत हो रही कि जो ये नहीं कर पाए, what they could do all these years. I mean, that Prime Minister Modi has done, and then in spite of they are all just saying give me a second. The GDP is 7.8%. The food inflation is in minus, and inflation overall is 1.55%.
So what you're saying ये नहीं कर पाए, इस बात का frustration है. Let me bring in Kapil Madan. Kapil Madan, it was terror tax before 2014, says the government, and only talks, no work. So it's obvious that the opposition is not going to accept this, and there's representation from the opposition rule states as well. So how come there's a narrative peddling that is happening at the moment?
So Swati, let me begin by saying I heard Mr. RP Singh, and I say this with responsibility. What he spoke was only half fact and full fiction. And let me give you data points why I say so. You please do a bit of a research on the GST. You will get to know that GST was mooted in 2011 also during the UPA 2. And at that point in time, you will be surprised to know which was the party who opposed it. So, I mean, no guesses are required here. It was the BJP only that opposed it. But nevertheless, they've been, changing stance over the policy issues. So I understand that, that was their compulsion while they were in the opposition. Now, let me give you an answer to, few data points Mr. RP Singh has said. Mr. Singh has said, he quoted some essential items and have said that the price of these essential items will go down. Let me again remind my, good friend Mr. Singh here, who happens to have a very short memory. Since 2017 and 2018, opposition has been raising voices insofar as these high taxes are concerned. We've seen COVID happen. During the COVID, etc., we've also noted that there was a, GST tax on life insurance premium, on health insurance premium, and the essential items that we have, which were being taxed at 18%. Now, I ask a very simple question here. All the BJP cheerleaders are trying to say that we've rationalized the tax. This will boost Make in India. This will boost the normal our consumption. My point is, aren't you, when you say this, aren't you admitting the fact that you've been imposing a tax which was irrational in nature? Because the moment you say that it is now rational, you admit to what the opposition has been saying since 8 years, that what you've been doing was irrational. And that was the reason why opposition on record has said that, this, if analogy has to be drawn, it is like a Gabbar Singh tax.
Okay, let me bring in Dr. Basu. Dr. Basu is an economist here on the panel. Dr. Basu, is this, just the case of the opposition now peddling a narrative like the BJP is alleging, or speaking ill of the reforms because it couldn't do so? Or is it really that the Bharatiya Janata Party, when in opposition, opposed it and now is talking about the reforms?
Well, it is quite simple. Before the GST, we had excise duties on everything. So if a party was interested in reforming the regime and making it simpler, they could have begun with a simplification of the excise duty regime. During the 10 years of UPA, there was absolutely no rationalization or simplification of the excise duty regime. So when you transition from the excise duty regime to the GST, you cannot suddenly abandon the old system and go to a single rate. Right. So that was the first challenge. Had the way been prepared, even by, say, Yashwant Sinha when he was NDA finance minister, had they prepared the ground for 15 years, then it would have been possible to move to a simpler form of GST right from the outset. But the transition was from excise duties to GST. And there is no doubt, every observer noted that the move to the GST, where you had excise duties, octroys, state sales taxes at the local level, etc., you had a myriad different duties and taxes imposed. Those have been replaced by a single rate. Unfortunately, there were 5 slabs because you had more than 5 slabs under the excise duty regime. Right. So now, from that, we've got a simplification to 2 main slabs, and I would have preferred that to be the end of the matter. There is also, unfortunately, a 3rd slab for the 40% so-called sin goods. Right. Anyway, so there are essentially 3 slabs now. That is a big improvement. And the more important thing is that you can cut excise duty rates, you can cut GST rates if the rest of the fiscal system is doing well. Now, the fiscal deficit has come down in India far more than in most of the world. Most of the world faced a massive fiscal crisis after the COVID pandemic. Okay, so if you look at compared to that, India's situation has improved because the fiscal situation is sound, because the current account position is strong. India now has the capacity to provide a fiscal stimulus this year. This year, the fiscal stimulus is huge. Income tax rates have been cut. GST rate will be cut. Right. We've also seen a monetary stimulus. 100 basis point cut in interest rates, only made possible by the fact that inflation is down. So ultimately more money in the pocket of the Aadmi. You're also saying that there was a complex system, and I want to bring in Advocate Anmol Pawar, a complex system of excise duties before there was GST. Things cannot be abandoned, an entire system cannot be abandoned overnight. It has to be done stepwise. And now you see a simplification of, that complex web.
Swati, we have been demanding this simplification for a very long time. When this GST was introduced in 2017, the government made it sound like India was getting independence for the second time. They termed it a revolutionary reform. And in the last 7 years, we have seen that how this reform was nothing but an economic assault on the Indian citizens. It broke the backbone of the poor and middle class of this country. In the last 8 years, figures don't lie, Swati ji. They made
There's
countless
an economist on the panel who does not agree with you, and he understands numbers more than anyone else.
How many taxes are...
But allow him to finish. Yes, allow him to finish. Advocate Pawarji, finish.
Let me complete.
Yes.
Let me complete. See, in the last 8 years, we saw that 50% of the Indians, the lower middle group, they contributed 64% of the taxes. The upper 40%, they contributed 33% of the taxes. And the top 10% bracket, they contributed only 3%. This government collected 117 lakh crores, this staggering figure, in the last 10 years. And after 8 years, they have realized कि भाई साहब हमें इसमें amendment करना चाहिए. 8 साल देश की जनता का खून चूसने के बाद टैक्स टेररिज्म की मार झेल रहा है देश का आम आदमी.
डॉक्टर बसु अभी यही एक्सप्लेन कर रहे थे कि एक्साइज ड्यूटी के अंडर भी देयर वर वेरियस कैटेगरीज सर, उसमें भी अलग अलग स्लैब्स थे. एक रात के अंदर सिस्टम नहीं बदलता, एक रात में सिस्टम नहीं बदलता, उसको सिंप्लीफाई करने में टाइम लगता है. यू मे नॉट वांट टू अग्री, बट अलाउ अ रिबटल फ्रॉम आरपी सिंह.
Anmol Pawar's party was born in 2014. Before that, they don't know what is the history of the country also, and they just know one part. But fact is, there were almost 30 sort of taxes overall which was applied on, and we brought it to one tax throughout the country, one level of taxation throughout the country, and that also you're saying rudely that money has gone into the development of the country. Today, the infrastructure, the way the infrastructure has grown, the way the roads have grown, the way the airports have been built, where the new hospitals have been built, where the new railway stations have been built. When everyone knows that overall there has been a progress in the nation, that's the reason that 25 crore people have come out of the poverty line. I mean, they have come out of the poverty, and this is not me saying, this is the World Bank data which is I'm quoting. So there has been an impact of whatever has been collected, and that has been recycled for the welfare of the people. It's not that it has gone to someone's pocket like Mr. Kejriwal or Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who are there in a lot of corruption cases. But that point aside, but fact is that overall impact of this complete is going to increase the overall consumption level in the country. There will be a lot of consumption, and that will lead to a lot of industrialization in the country, because more the consumption, more you need people to manufacture also. That will take care of a lot of MSME and a lot of other industries, small scale industry also.
Mr. Madan also wants to come in, RP Singh ji.
When we didn't tax, give me a second. We didn't tax the BD, the government didn't tax the BD. The reason was because it would have affected the cotton industry. I'm giving one example. 50 lakh people are impacted by only
but that was linked to Bihar polls. That will open another chapter. That will open another chapter. I want to bring in, I'm saying that was linked to Bihar polls, and that will open another chapter. I want to bring in Kapil Madan. One other criticism is, what's the problem if the Prime Minister bats for Swadeshi? As opposed to Rahul Gandhi, putting on display a Chinese drone and hailing China. What's wrong if the Prime Minister says boost consumption of Indian products? Respond.
So I think there's no problem. Let me say this, but what has been happening is that we've been only hearing words and we are not seeing the results. Let me give you data and facts why I say so. We all saw in 2015, 16, 17, Prime Minister also advocated for Make in India campaign. Now my question is this, if you really wanted to promote Make in India campaign, why wouldn't you have GST structure that would support Make in India campaign back then? In fact, at that time also, Make in India was launched, Make in India was advocated, and perhaps we didn't saw the results which we expected from Honorable Prime Minister's statements. Now, what we're seeing now again is, we in the last 4 or 5 years, we've seen our dependency on Chinese goods, our dependency on the foreign goods have gone exponentially high. Our trade with China have gone, manyfold. Who is responsible for all this? And now we have a situation where, Trump is trying to bully us, with, every now and then he,
but that there are negotiations happening. But there's been a complete U-turn. There has been a U-turn on part of US as well. The fact that the trade talks are happening, negotiations are happening is a sign of a positive development. Let me bring in PK Basu. PK Basu, Make in India did not take off. That's the allegation, that Make in India did not take off. For 8 years, who burdened the country. Now you want to take credit for simplifying.
Let me just point out that when UPA was in power, the current account, the balance of payments current account deficit was 4.8% of GDP in fiscal year 2013. Now, let's just understand what this means. This means that imports of goods and services were 4.8% of GDP more than our exports of goods and services. Now, the current account deficit in the latest 12 months is 0.4% of GDP. It's come down from 4.8% of GDP deficit to 0.4% now. So that is the improvement. Now, of course, you can say that, we have some drones from China, we have some phones from China, etc. But are they being increasingly made in India? Absolutely. When Apple reported its last results, Tim Cook said that all the phones, all the iPhones sold in the United States in the latest quarter were made in India. That is a remarkable statement. I mean, we never produced any iPhones in this country until about 6 or 7 years ago. I used to live abroad. When I came back to India, ever since, I have only bought iPhones that are made in India. Right. I started with an iPhone SE, then I bought an iPhone 14, and then I bought an iPhone 16, all made in India. Now, the latest iPhone 17 is heavily made in India. Until this happened, until the iPhone 17, when Apple announced a new product, almost all would be produced in China. Yes. The iPhone 17 is being produced both in India and China. This is a remarkable change.
A remarkable change. Do you believe the...
And not just that. So this is a clear... this is a clear success of the Make in India initiative.
Okay, there are markers of that clear success and progress. Why is the opposition choosing not to see it? Advocate Anmol Pawar.
Can I come in? Swati ji, PM Modi ji is preaching Swadeshi to the citizens of our country. बहुत अच्छी बात है. But ये याद रखें that the same Prime Minister uses German car to travel, uses foreign imported aircrafts, wears Movado sunglasses, flaunts his Italian watches, Swiss watches and pens. तो मोदी जी की एक बात याद आती है कि भाई हिपोक्रेसी की भी तो कोई सीमा होती है, इनकी तो सीमा ही नहीं है, इनकी तो सीमा ही नहीं है.
Before I wrap up,
why don't the Prime Minister start himself? Why don't Prime Minister start himself? Why don't he give away all these luxury belongings which he uses for his daily use? Why don't he shut down 4 American companies? Trump is insulting India day in and day out.
RP Singh.
This is so pity on Mr. Anmol Pawar and Aam Aadmi Party that he is spreading lies on your television, on your channel, where he said Prime Minister be so whatever he's talking about. But fact is, I remember Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, I never interrupted you. Arvind Kejriwal came in a very small car, probably one of the Maruti car or one of the other WagonR car, and then he shifted to one of the best cars in the country. But there are security issues, that's why he has to use certain level of car. Or there's that aeroplane is because there are only 2 companies which manufacture that sort of aeroplane. But otherwise, the khadi has grown up. Let's talk about khadi has grown almost 8-fold what it used to be, and it's all because of the appeal from the Prime Minister Modi. And on your channel, I'm again saying we should all look forward to as much Indian, as much Bharatiya products we should buy and wear or use all the as much.
So the Prime Minister says time to go Swadeshi. The opposition has mocked the Prime Minister. BJP hits out. BJP says before 2014 there was only talks, no work. There's transformation and reform happening now which the opposition is not able to digest. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast.